You're listening to the Actors Resource with Alice Kwan, a podcast for actors and improvisers with interviews from entertainment industry experts.
Today's guest on the Actors Resource podcast is Chen, an actor in the San Francisco Bay Area and who is also an entrepreneur who's created an app called SceneRunner that will run lines with an actor for scenes, auditions, and plays. Will was originally born in Chico, California, and grew up in Reno, Nevada. He graduated from UC Davis with a computer and science engineering degree before moving to the Bay Area during the dot-com boom. He started studying acting in 2006 and has done a ton of plays throughout the Bay Area. Will is currently working on getting his free acting rehearsal app out into the world. Welcome, Chen.
Hello, Alice.
Hello, Will. Thank you so much for being my guest here on the Actors Resource podcast.
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
Hello, Actors Resource and all fellow actors out there.
Yes, we appreciate you coming on. When we spoke last, you were telling me how you're primarily a theater actor.
Yep.
Started in theater, and now you're transitioning into film and TV.
Yeah, I suppose I like doing that as well.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know that I'm transitioning. I'm just still exploring and keeping my options open, opening up as many options as I can, sort of thing.
Right. How did you first get into acting?
I first got into acting. I've been already working. I think I got into it later in life. I've been working, graduated from college with an engineering degree, computer science and engineering. And then when I was living in San Francisco, I wanted to do some fun classes that I never got to do while I was studying for engineering in college. So I went to City College and I took 3 different fun classes. I took fencing, jiu-jitsu, and beginning acting.
And this was at City College in San Francisco?
Yeah. And I was working professionally. I was working at a .com. Doing my thing, and then I enjoyed all 3 classes, but then I got bit by the bug, and I can remember the exact moment when it just really bit me, and I just had to act after that. I didn't even act anything specific. It was like the acting teacher asked us, Deborah Shaw, she asked us to bring in something that happened that had an emotional charge, but that wasn't too emotional because this wasn't therapy.
To bring something in from your real life?
Exactly, and to be able to talk about it, right?
Okay.
So, I was like, okay. So I ended up talking about some girl that really broke my heart, and something about the way I told the story, from the beginning to the end. I guess it was so cathartic to talk about it, and at the end of it, I got a standing ovation from the class, and
wow.
I was just like, whoa, and it just kind of helped move things in that particular situation for me. When I was like, oh. Then I understood why that girl and I wasn't really going to work out, why I understood why it didn't happen. And it was just such a, help me move forward with it. What is that closure? It was such a great closure for me. From then on, that standing ovation, the being able to tell a story in front of people, that really grabbed me. And I just couldn't let go of it after that.
So it was the big major acknowledgement and standing O, and you're like, oh, I need more of this.
Yeah, pretty much. Show me, where's that vein at? Let's inject more of that into there. Jeez.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
After that, did you make a decision right then and there? I am really going to do this acting?
Oh, yeah. I started doing plays very soon after.
Yeah.
I did a play with the Mission Cultural Center called Ippolito. Mm-hmm. That was, the run was 2 months. It was 2 or 3 months. Yeah, it was crazy long. It wasn't that was such, I mean, it wasn't like some of the nights where there was more actors than audience, but we did it so many times. And I think, I would never do anything like that again, just over the course, to do 3 months of the same show because it was, I would just kind of get bored of that.
Yeah.
But for me at the time, it was perfect. It was just my first show just to be able to jump in and feet first and did my first onstage kiss with a guy and first time getting on stage. So, just all of it, let it all hang out.
All in that one play? You did all of that?
Yeah.
Awesome. See, now you're prepared for Hamilton. If because Hamilton goes forever.
There it goes. Well, then, yes.
Yeah.
That I would do. So,
yeah.
Casting creators of Hamilton listening, I'm available for that.
Yeah.
And even show some skin. I've been working out.
Nice. So that was the first time you did an onstage kiss. First time you did an onstage kiss with a male, and then did you have to show skin on that one too, or no?
I was bare naked on.
You were naked?
Yeah. Oh, and I died on stage too, so that was kind of fun.
Oh my God, it's like the full range. You were like fearless.
Well, yeah, I tend to jump into things. I jump into things if I know I'm going to be doing it. I just jump in. I can't leave anything behind on the table, you know.
Yeah. Wow, that is brave and fierce and totally awesome. I totally cannot do nudity for a couple of reasons. One, no, I have not been working out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never too late to start.
Yeah. But I'm fine with other people doing nudity. Just nobody wants to see this. It's okay.
Yes. What are you saying, Alice? Stop. Don't be down on yourself.
No. It's all good. Anyways, okay, so then after that, you've done lots and lots of plays, and you're still doing plays now.
Yeah, here and again, I did 2 plays last year.
Yeah.
One was with Coastal Rep in Half Moon Bay.
Nice.
And it was The Rivals, which is a play by Robert Sheridan. It was George Washington's favorite play. And it was quite nice. I got to play a British soldier, which, I guess, what is that? Is that whiteface that I put on? I don't know. But
interesting.
Well, for your listeners who don't know me, I'm Asian. So it's, I played a British soldier, which is unusual. But what was really great, there was actually an English guy there who was an accent coach.
Nice.
So I really got to get my English accent on, and he helped correct me, helped coach me, go through, give me notes on my accent afterwards. So it was absolutely fantastic to have a coach there. And the second play I did was at the Fillmore in San Francisco with the African American Arts and Cultural Center with SF Batco, the theater company I believe they're residents there. I'm not absolutely positive. They have offices there. So yeah. Anyway, I did a play by Josh Wilder, who's a young playwright. I believe he's in Chicago or Baltimore, one of those 2 towns. I actually got to play a Chinese restaurant owner. I actually got to play my own ethnicity, which has only happened twice in the 12, 13 odd years I've been acting. So that was actually quite good to do a play like that. It was a lot of fun. SF Batco, they're doing a play right now that's going to be coming out on how to be a white man. So that's
a comedy.
I hope so. I hope they don't take themselves too seriously. But yeah, that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah.
So shout out to SF Batco.
Very cool. You've been acting for 12 to 13 years. You jumped into it 110% into the fire. And you used to do engineering, right?
I still do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you still do engineering?
Mm-hmm.
You still do that as a full-time job?
Well, I'm working on my app. So that's where my engineering comes in. I'm not getting paid much for that. But,
yet. So let's talk about that, because I think that ties into, I'm thinking for us actors that, especially in the beginning, we have our secondary jobs to help support our acting until we get to a position where our acting supports everything, which would be lovely and very doable. But for you, when you were working full-time as an engineer and you transitioned to being an actor, so step us through, how are you able to financially support yourself with, the acting, with the engineering? And of course, we totally want to talk about this new app that you're creating. So that's kind of a few different questions.
Sure. To make a living with engineering, not too difficult. You just get an engineering job and go ahead and start that. But one of the things actually I do like a lot about the software engineering career is, as an engineer, you're pretty independent. They don't clock you in, clock you out. If you're working at a place like that, you really need to find a different job because there's it's actually a really good career to have. You wouldn't think so in complement of acting,
right?
Because when I was working, the last place I worked at was this company called Vertical Response. They were right downtown, and what was great was Bobino Casting, a block away from my office. So I could just go and do an audition and just take an hour to just walk over and do it. And most of the time, it's just as long as you get your work done, the companies aren't they're not watching you on when your time is. And it's just as long as it doesn't interfere with meetings. And when I went to the other casting office, Nancy Hayes was like a BART right away. So it was just very quick, and then, it was just whenever my auditions were, it's I'm going to be out for a little bit. I'll be back. And, I never caught any flack at all for that sort of thing.
So most engineering jobs are flexible as long as you get your work done?
I don't know about engineering jobs per se, but I would say for the tech field, for like software engineering, most every job I've had when I was acting and doing auditions and stuff, I never really came across a huge conflict. And if I ever had something of just like, where I did have an audition or I got cast, I could just be like, oh, I'm taking that day off, or I can make up the work later. Oh, I'll work this weekend, or I'm going to shift days. And most of my boss was like, okay, they really didn't care. They just wanted the work done. They don't care how you do the work as long as you get it done. That's been my experience. Making the transition, when I went down to LA, the company I was working for got bought out. So I had a burst of funds to be able to kind of go to Los Angeles and explore.
So you were working in San Francisco, and then you were able to really, get a lot of work in the San Francisco doing theater, doing some commercials or industrials, and occasionally some, TV shows that might come up, or you'd be able to audition. But then, what's that?
Yes, I'd be able to audition.
You auditioned. That's awesome. So then your company in downtown San Francisco got bought out. So you got a big old severance pay at that point?
Well, at that point, I was already thinking about moving down to LA.
Okay.
And my roommate was like, I got to move out at the end of the school year. He's a chiropractic student. Uh-huh. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I want to move down there and just give it a shot. So I did. Yeah.
When did you move down to LA?
That was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, so 4 or 5 years ago, you moved down to LA, and you were down there for about...
Yeah, about 2.5, 3 years, and then the money kind of ran out. I mean, I got a chance to experience, like some of that, and I didn't quite... I guess I had this, my app kind of in the background of like, I had to write this, and I didn't write it while I was living down in LA.
You did?
No, I did a little bit. I was working on it. And I had, I've had a primitive form of it for, since I started acting, basically. And so for your listeners, the app is a app to rehearse with you. So you can basically say your lines, and the app will then say the lines of the other characters for you. It didn't start off that sophisticated. It was just something where, I'd say my line, tap it, and the voice software of Mac or Android or whatever will then say the lines of your characters. And you're like, so I would indicate to the computer I'm done by tapping my space bar. But I was like, oh, I got to make a phone app out of this. That was always been in the background. So I've put it it's actually on both Android and iOS. It's called SceneRunner.
Nice.
And if you don't mind, I would love to just kind of give your viewers a sample of how it works.
Of course.
All right. So this right here, this is, you can't see it, but it's all right. We're going into the Shakespeare sampler, and we're going to be running...
What's the name of your app again?
It's SceneRunner. SceneRunner. It's all one word.
And is it free?
Yeah, it's free, and there's free samples, but there's also a side where you can download Shakespeare plays. I got a couple of Oscar Wilde. I got a couple of Bernard Shaw. I got to put a lot more of the public domain stuff. But this is running a scene from the Scottish play, and I'm going to be playing the Scotsman.
Which Scottish play would that be? I'm wondering.
I know the deed. Dost thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended.
I.
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
All right, so that's the app, and is actually recognizing my voice as I go along.
That's
and so
cool.
Yeah, if you download it, you can check it out. Yeah, I mean, there's still some limitations on the voice recognition, but overall, it's really, really good, especially with kind of back and forth dialogue. With monologues, it tends to kind of slow down when monologues get really long, but that's okay because you can just, tap the screen to let the app know, okay, now I'm done. Or after about a minute, the voice recognition stops because those are just limitations of the technology right now. But again, when you're done, you just tap. And you can change voices. If you didn't like that Lady Macbeth voice, you could tune it up. You can change it altogether. If you want your Lady Macbeth to be a man's voice, you could do that as well, depending on your preferences. Speed it up, slow it down. There's a lot of different things. And I'm currently working on, and this is the real kicker. I think this is going to help get the app and just get actors overall using the app, is I'm working on getting actors' scenes, whatever scenes you're working on, into the app. Mm-hmm. So you just go to the website, copy paste it in there, do a little processing, and boom, it's on your phone, ready to rehearse with you. I've used this. This is what I use personally whenever I go on audition. Whenever the night before, it takes me, most scenes that, when you actually get into a real theatrical audition, it's about a page, maybe two at the most, especially, with the 5 and unders and co-star roles. I don't know what it is for guest stars. I've never gotten a guest star audition, but It's like
Yet.
yet. I have yet to.
Yes.
But it's like, even if it's like 3 or 4 pages, it takes about, what I'm working on is getting it to be about 2 to 3 minutes of processing per page. So to get it into the app, and then you can just rehearse it as you like.
Okay, so just to reiterate and then back up a little bit. Currently, the SceneRunner app is available on both iOS and Android. It's free. It currently has already some plays on the app.
To be purchased. Those are purchased.
Oh, okay. The plays are to be purchased. Are there scenes that are already free on the app?
Yeah, there's a Shakespeare sampler. So I have like a sampling of Shakespeare scenes that you can download, and so you can check out the app. Okay. And what I am doing, like I said, is working on getting it so you can put your own scenes in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make that free just, because I want people to know about this app. I don't want people to use it and get it out there. And a good drug dealer, the first one's free. So let's just get it there.
Right.
Get people using it. And that's it's not available yet. But like in the next, I'm hoping to release it in the next, let's say about 2 months from now. And maybe I'll come back then and announce it. Yeah.
Great. So we're looking at probably maybe in the end of July or August? That you'll have the app to be updated or revised in such a way where an actor can go onto their computer, record a scene that they're working on for class or for an audition.
Oh, let me correct you there. Correct you.
No, not do that.
Not record, but it's text.
Oh, okay. So they type it in the computer.
Yeah, or copy paste.
Or copy paste.
However they get it in there.
Okay, but not a PDF. It has to be actually a PDF.
It has to be,
won't work.
A PDF at this point won't work. But there's like different types of PDFs. It gets technical, but some PDFs don't have the text in there. They have a picture of the text.
Right.
And if it's that, there's just zero chance of me being able to do any sort of processing at this point to do that. I'm just the one guy. It's possible. Technically, it's possible, but it's not easy. Okay. And then there's other PDFs that do have the text in there, but even then, there might still be some corrections because they get wonky when they go into PDFs. Sure. But if you have a straight up like a text document or a Word doc or something, you can just copy and paste your scenes and then drop it into the website and do a little processing, identify, that's a stage direction, that's a page number, and identify your characters, and it processes it. Like I said, I want to get it down to about, a couple of minutes per page sort of thing.
So we're looking at maybe 5 minutes per page for an actor's time to copy and paste the scene that they're working on for an audition or for a class. They'll put it into the website. That website will process that information in about 2 to 3 minutes time for a page. That will put that scene into the app. And so the actor can go into the SceneRunner app, say their lines, and the app will be able to voice recognize when it's time to say the other person's lines. Is
Correct.
That true? That's great.
Pretty much, except for the 5 minutes per page to kind of enter it in, but the website won't take 5 to 10 minutes per page. It should be pretty quick to put it into a format. And then you go to your SceneRunner app and, you basically go, okay, check out my scenes that I've uploaded. And then you download it into your version of the SceneRunner. And then you should be able to run it. That's where I'm pretty close to it now.
Cool.
I'm working on the website part. Yeah, I think, using this stuff and practicing, it's really amazing. Yes, it's great to have family and friends who will help you out doing that, but they get kind of tired of helping you doing that,
Yeah.
Or, if your friends aren't as good as all that, no, don't find a better friends. Find SceneRunner. SceneRunner will help you out. I mean, it's been really nice. Like right before an audition, like 5 minutes before, I'm in the car and I just run the scene again, or right there with the app.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I got it. Yes, I got it. Now I go in.
Now, is this the first app of its kind to be able to do voice recognition?
I haven't seen any other ones, and I haven't heard of any of them doing that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I haven't
really
seen
excited.
Any either. So
yeah, I'm really excited to get this out there to people and people using it, because it has helped me a lot to be able to do this sort of process of just like, it's amazing how much. When you do it and you're looking at the script, it takes you out of it to have to do that.
Right.
It takes you out of the.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it and there's the app is there to run the scene with you, then it's just like, okay, you can be in the moment. Oh, at the very most, it's a tap to let the app know, it's like, okay, that didn't recognize that's fine. But you can be in the moment with the app, which is what I envisioned when I first imagined this.
That's very cool. One last question. Would you like to share one of your best experiences as an actor and one of your worst experiences as an actor?
Oh, Lordy.
Maybe do the worst. Do the worst first if you want to. You don't have to. And definitely one of your best, for sure.
Okay. Let's see. One of my worst, I suppose. I could talk about, there's a play that I did where what was bad about it, let's say, wasn't like anything except that the lead actor just would routinely show up 30 minutes late to rehearsal. Completely disrespected everyone's time, completely disrespected that we were there to do a show. And she was the lead. It was crazy. I couldn't believe the director wouldn't fire her, but the director didn't do that. And we just had to work around like all this sort of thing. So to have that tension and this kind of, when you're working, especially in theater, it's like you need to be with the other people to kind of work and feel confident in what they're doing, as well as, to help build your own. And she was the kind of actor who she never really looked bad, even when it was her fault. She could stay in the moment, and not be saying her line, but just still be in character. And you're there fumbling, trying to figure out how to cover it up for her. And she would just sit there being like, okay. And she was the most pleasant person to be. She was really pleasant, but she drove me. She had a great disposition, and she was really friendly. But she would just completely disrespect your time. It would just drive me nuts. And that was definitely not a happy experience.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I must have some sadistic tendencies because, these worst experiences are funny. Not at the time, and I'm not laughing at you. It's just like looking back now, it's like funny. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the best.
Let's go. Yes, best experiences.
The best experience, it's really hard to say, because when I think it's, for me, it really is being on the stage. I can't point to any single one. It's just that it's that drug. It's the heroin that we're injecting into our acting veins, like when we're on, when you're on the stage or you're performing in class or wherever it is. It's that particular moment when you're capturing your character and exactly what they're saying, the moments of discovery that you yourself as a person, as an actor, are having about your character's experience that they're having at the same time. Is like, oh, that's why I'm feeling this way about, this person on stage, or, oh, that's what's happening. You're sharing the very emotion that the character is going through. Those moments there are the best moments. Every time that happens, that's the best moment of acting that's happening. And that's why I come back to this thing is, this is the most expensive hobby I've ever had in my life.
Seriously.
Might as well take up a drug addiction. It might be cheaper,
Right. With less rejection.
There you go. But it is what, there's nothing like it when you're in that place. Is just, think about it.
It's transformative. It can be.
Yeah. It's completely transformative. It's the discovery.
Yeah.
Those moments of discovery that you experience. And I've even had it in auditions before, like when I auditioned for The Rivals, I read for a different character and I had it in that moment. It was just like, boom. It was like, ooh, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So that's the best moment I had in acting, is just that long, extended, still chasing that moment, here. And, just, I can't let go of that.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you so much, Will, for being our guest here on the Actors Resource.
Alice, thank you so much for having me. It was great.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the Actors Resource Podcast. Please contact me if there's a specific subject you would love to hear about. Thank you.